Hello, good afternoon. Michael Wynn, Chief Digital Officer of Digital Ops, a division of RB Oppenheim Associates. Welcome to the Digital Marketing Podcast and video episode where we talk about digital marketing tactics and strategies to help grow your business. Today, I'm going to talk about one of the ways that businesses in the US are being hammered by nefarious characters who want nothing more than to disrupt US-based businesses and their ability to thrive on the internet when it comes to their website and attracting attention, providing information, selling products, providing answers to questions, all the different things that your business website does. Now, it's no secret that WordPress as a CMS or a content management system powers more than 33% of all websites on the internet today. So when your content management system or your software is has the largest market share, you're going to have a large target on your back, meaning that people are going to look for opportunities and vulnerabilities, because if they can find one, then they can access that towards more than a third of all websites on the internet that are out there. So I think that this is a very common thing. Clients come to us and they had their website built 4 or 5 years ago. It was built on WordPress. I go in, I log in, and I see, that their plugins haven't been updated in years. Their theme hasn't been updated in years. They're running a version of WordPress that is, extremely old. That is exactly what the nefarious characters are looking for when it comes to, being able to compromise your website. So, but first of all, let's talk about what is the bot? What is it trying to do when it attacks your website? What is it trying to do? What's its end goal? Well, the end goal of the bot has nothing to do with your data, your company, your consumer information. Like, it doesn't want any of that. What it wants is to be able to grow its bot network. That's the end goal. And so if it can, through its script, a series of code, it's going to, first of all, identify, okay, let's identify what the exploits are for this, website. Okay, number one, let's identify if it's WordPress, because if it is WordPress, we know that the 3 most common ways that we can get into and take over a website is weak passwords, plugins that are out of date, a theme that's out of date, or a WordPress version that's out of date, because those exploits have been, documented and people know. It's literally like leaving your back door wide open. So it's ironic to me that people spend money and have a website designed and built, but then they set it and forget it and they never update it. And so they're literally just, creating this ginormous target on their back. So what's interesting is that when these bots are able to actually compromise your website, again, they don't want your information. What they want is to be able to control your website, use it as a satellite to expand their bot network, and then continue to do this site after site after site. So, what's interesting, I would say in the last 10 years, as a WordPress developer, this last week has probably been one of the most challenging weeks that I've experienced in the last decade. And, it was to such an extent that on October 23rd, even Jeff Bezos of Amazon created a press release and talked about this surge of foreign, nefarious characters looking to disrupt US-based business that literally brought Amazon servers down as well. And so there is a growing amount of cyber crimes that are happening. But for small business owners or regional companies and even national brands like CNN and just so many different outlets, Sony Pictures, George Lucas companies, Beyonce, like there are high profile companies that use WordPress as their content management system. And so if you are not taking the proper steps to secure your website, then you literally are, again, just part of a large target group. So, the other thing that I think is interesting is that most of these attacks, in history have come from offshore or have been, they originated from a non-US location. So, they could be, from pretty much any continent other than North America. So whether it's Germany or Taiwan or China or France or, wherever, anything not in America, this is typically where these the origination came from. But what's happened, and I think this is what's interesting, and this is why this last week has been so frustrating, is because website owners have set it and forget it on their website and not created these updates, these sites are being compromised and these website hosting accounts are being compromised. And this is what we saw. Of course, on our servers, we're blocking IP addresses from outside countries because, our clients don't have any business or visitors. They're not looking to attract business from foreign visitors. They just, because of their location or their services, it's not like they're trying to discriminate or exclude. It's just that it's not practical. They don't deliver, pizza to France, or, they don't provide, real estate property sales to, someone that lives in Australia. It's not what their needs are. So of course we're blocking those IPs by country code, along with the fact that they're in a list of already identified nefarious characters based on their IP address. So, but here's what's really happened, and this is what's really changed, is the fact that these US-based data centers and hosting companies have been compromised because of WordPress websites that are out of date, that have not been, properly secured with good passwords. I mean, I can't believe how many times I've had a client call me and say, hey, can you reset my password? And they're like, could you use password 1? And I'm like, no, I can't use password 1. I'm oversimplifying, but essentially that's what it is. And so, these what we've seen is all of a sudden a rash of US-based IP addresses that are, coming after WordPress websites. And so it's literally a game of like whack-a-mole. It's like you're having to go hand-to-hand combat, one-to-one, because I can't just block the country code of USA. That would not be good for the client, right? Because they do want US-based visitors coming to their website. So again, when we go back to how do they figure this out? So with WordPress, in the file structure, everything begins, or all of the file structures begin with WP-admin, WP-content, WP-includes. And so all of this, it has a signature, it has a footprint, and that's what these bots are looking for. Well, in the past, there have been ways, either on the server side or with plugins, that you could hide or change the login, WP-admin, to a unique name, and that was helpful. But trying to change the file and folder structure was a little more of a challenge. And some, attempts, probably going back 2 or 3 years, had tried to, address this. But here I am, 10 years working with WordPress sites, and very recently I came across an incredible, for me, light bulb epiphany moment and plugin that has been downloaded for at least 50,000 downloads, tested, works great. We've begun to deploy it, and it has seen an incredible decrease in the number of bot attacks. And here's why. So when they try to identify, like I said, their goal is to, you know, find out vulnerabilities. They need to make sure your website is built on WordPress. So in their code, they're like, go look for WP dash whatever. So with this plugin, we're able to rename all of those file structures to a unique name, right? So, you know, I could name your theme, you know, whiteboard, or, you know, or something like that. And so all of a sudden the code, what used to be full of WP dash whatever, all of that is gone. And so essentially when these bots are able to detect in your website that you are a WordPress website, essentially they've discovered your phone number. And, you know, you can kind of think about this. I mean, obviously we're about to go into the political election series, and, you know, robo dialers are going to be in full swing, I'm sure. So this is very similar to that when they discover that your website is WordPress and they discover that WP dash file structure, they've essentially uncovered your website phone number, and they keep trying to dial the number. Well, as with any phone system, when you get enough, you know, let's say you have 5 or 6, I mean, I think we have like 6 lines available here in our office. And so when more than 6 people call in, the lines are blocked. Like there's no more lines to call. And so, you know, one of the first things you'll do is like, hey, we need to get more phones, you know, need to get more phone lines. And then, you know, we need to hire more people to answer the phone. But what you realize is when you pick up the phone, it's a freaking robo dialer. Like it's not even a human. And that's what the bots are. They're dialing your number, which is your website, but they're not actually real people, real traffic. They're just clogging up the line, which makes your site load slower, you know, and creates all kinds of frustration. So when you have the ability to essentially hide your phone number or hide your WordPress file structure, you've then become invisible, which is why that is the #1 hack. Obviously, having your website up to date, having strong passwords, you know, all of those best practices is in place. But really the #1 hack is to rename your WP dash file structure so that, you know, when those bots go out and they're looking for, you know, WP content and WP admin, and you have none of that, they're going to move on to the next neighbor. They're going to move on to the next person on the server, to the next person in that IP range, and they're going to leave you alone. And that is where we can really turn the tide in these bot attacks towards WordPress websites. So guys, I hope this has been informative and helpful for you. If you have questions, you know, hit me up on Twitter at DigitalWin or LinkedIn or Facebook. If you've got questions about this, we'll be posting this on our blog. I think this is an incredible, helpful piece of content. So if your website is built on WordPress, or you know someone's website that's built on WordPress and they felt like they've had problems or questions about, you know, is it safe? Why is it slow? I hope you'll share this episode with them, because I think it could be really helpful for a lot of people. Again, 33% of all websites on the internet are powered by WordPress. We need to make sure that they're secure, and we need to make sure they can become invisible to these nefarious characters who are trying to disrupt US-based businesses. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Michael Wynn. I'm the Chief Digital Officer of Digital Ops, a division of RB Oppenheim Associates. Thanks for tuning in today. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.